Hello there. Uh, in this video I will try to explain how autopropagation works in OmegaT and when and how we need to prevent autopropagation by means of alternative translations. This is a topic that generates some confusion sometimes, so I will try to clarify it as the best I can. So here we have a project. This simulates a project in OmegaT. On the left we have the XLIF files and we have two files. And then on the right we see the project's TM, which is where the translations of the project get stored. So in the project we see that we have several occurrences of several segments containing the word subject. The first two occurrences belong to the first file, and the third occurrence appears in the second file. So we translate the first occurrence as tema, and the translation is saved in the project's TM. And then OmegaT compares the source text of this new translation unit stored in the TM with all the source segments in the project. And he finds that there are several identical occurrences, and then it uses the translation in all of those. So this is how autopropagation works in OmegaT. This translation, the translation is saved only once in the TM, and then it is pulled from there into all the places where it is needed. So the translation exists only in the TM, and then it is used in every single place where the source text in the source file is identical to the source text in the TM. So that means that the translation is not written in the files when you're translating, but only when you're done with the translation and you generate the translation documents. And this is very useful to ensure consistency and save effort, because you only have to translate each repeated segment once, and then the same translation is used all over in all of its occurrences throughout the project. So let's see what happens when there are different contexts in which one same sentence or same phrase might have different meanings, and therefore might require different translations depending on the context. So we have the segment subject translated as tema in all the repetitions of this segment in the project. However, in the first file, the word subject refers to the subject field of a book in a library catalog, for example, whereas in the second file, the word subject refers to the topic of an email. So we see that there are the two contexts activate different meanings of the word subject and require potentially different translations. So this means, in this case, it requires a different translation, so this means that we have a problem. So how do we solve this problem? We have to create a different translation for the occurrence of subject in the second file with the meaning of topic of an email. And how do we do that? We need to create an alternative translation. Here I would like to point out that I would create an alternative translation for this segment and not for any of the other two, because this is, like, let's say, the minority. So it makes sense to keep the default translation for segments that are repeated more times, with a meaning that is repeated more times, and create alternative translations for segments that appear less times. So you need to create the alternative translation less times. Okay, so when we do that, when we create the alternative translation in this segment, the autopropagation of the default translation from the TM is removed. And then we can replace the original translation with the new correct translation. And when we save, this alternative translation is saved in the project's TM, and from there it is used only in this segment. That is, in the segment where this alternative translation was created. That means that it is not autopropagated to other identical repetitions of this segment in the project, and that the translation of those repeated segments is not auto-propagated to this segment where I have created the alternative translation either. So this is how I have tried to explain how alternative translations are created in OmegaT and when it is necessary to do so. Thanks for watching and take care.